Alright. As always, I start not unprepared.
You've got one on your right.
Hello everyone. As you can see,
All clear.
I'm driving Project Cars 2 or Nordschleife, an Oreca LMP2 car. I thought about praising Project Cars 2, talking why I like it, why I like this sim, and why I was
Thunderstorms in the next few minutes, so be careful out there.
sorry. And also, most importantly, I would like to say what I would like to have in Project Cars 3. Yeah. So, first, a little bit of background about Project Cars 2 and me. When I began sim racing, I downloaded Project Cars 2 and I got it for a very good deal. I don't remember, it was maybe $25 for the whole content, something like that, maybe 35, maybe something, for a sim that has all this great variety of content. But unfortunately I could not drive it. I thought that it's not crisp enough in terms of physics, and also like the force feedback wasn't good enough for me. I couldn't, for example, when I'm on an outside curb, for example like this one, suddenly the car like pulls right or left without me feeling. It only snaps.
2 lengths behind you.
Whoopsie daisy.
Right side. On your right side. He's on your right.
Late.
He's clear.
Even if I was late, he was even later. Anyway,
Nice one.
guys, I'm driving in one hand. My other hand is broken, so don't judge me. And also, this is only AI, so they have no feelings, or if we nudge them or something. Anyway, back to the subject. Same thing I felt about
1 length behind.
same thing I felt in the beginning about Race Room. Also, it was indrivable.
Watch your right. Okay, he's cleared you.
But after I drove
Back.
other sims,
Half length back. Car right.
so for example, Assetto Corsa and R Factor 2 in the beginning, felt like intuitive, felt really like driving a real. Yeah, I deserve it too much.
One length behind.
And guys, there is damage model.
Behind.
There is a proper damage model in this sim, but for the time being it's off. So no way I could survive hitting the wall that violent like the last one. Back to the subject about Project Cars 2. When I started recently sim racing, in the beginning I did not like it or something. Somehow I think I tried other sims and learned how to drive sim racing, which is very very bad. I don't want to learn to drive sim racing. I want sim racing as an alternative to real life. I cannot afford going to Nordschleife and driving an LMP2 car in great conditions, weather conditions like these. So this is why I do sim racing. But I think after I did some other sims, I learned how to drive sim racing again, which is bad. And went back to Race Room, it was drivable. Went back to Project Cars 2, it was drivable. Some people gave me an advice about like increasing the gain and the tune in force feedback settings, and it was even better. Anyway, I will maybe talk later about why I like Project Cars 2 at the end, because I want to show you like I will try to be very brief and fast in telling you some titles about good things that exist in Project Cars 2. Probably you know too much and maybe more than me, but I thought it doesn't harm to talk and drive a little bit to practice. I'm going to drive on Nordschleife this summer. At the same time, it doesn't harm to talk a little bit. Yeah, maybe you can find something interesting. Maybe I can sway your opinion by 1%. So why not? I will randomly jump now to what I wish to have in Project Cars 2, and I will start with the most, how can I say, controversial thing that might bring me too much hate, which is the driving experience. So although in my opinion, Project Cars 2 is a very proper sim that has too many features, even more than other sims, but still I have a little bit feeling that the driving experience, the physics, the force feedback has too much room to improve. So if the developers wanted to try do Project Cars 3, I wish that the most time and effort that will be invested is in the driving experience, the physics and the force feedback. And why? I will tell you why in the last section when I will tell you what I like in Project Cars 2. I will show you how much sophisticated this sim is. You know, there has been a few rumors since the end of 2018. This sim is relatively new, but there has been rumors about Project Cars 3 that it will be the successor of Need for Speed Shift. I believe this is like a statement by SMS themselves, Slightly Mad Studios, the developer behind this sim. And although like Need for Speed triggers some bad memories because when I was a child I did not know anything about sim racing. All I did was arcade games. But don't rush in being negative, guys, because don't forget that Need for Speed Shift, when it came to the market, wow, I aquaplant. The thing is that I did not see the the, what do we call it? I mean this little lake of water. I don't remember. Dumping or something. Anyway, I saw it very late. So anyway, back to the subject. Even here, you can see it, but it's too late to react. But I like this. I love this realism in track and in dynamic track. Anyway, Need for Speed Shift, when it came, it was a very big jump in terms of physics, in terms of graphics. I remember it was it felt really good driving it on a keyboard. But anyway, it was a very big jump. Physics and graphics, it was a very good big jump, and it had some oh, I shouldn't brake that much here, but here I should brake too much. It was a very big jump, again in physics and the graphics. The graphics were great. Also there has been like dynamic racing line, as far as I remember, things to like teach you drive better, and also good single player, which I don't care about too much. I don't care too much about career and like this. I mainly do league racing. But yeah, many guys now are talking about single player and in ACC and in Formula 1, and so maybe it has market, but to me I only care about the online experience, to be as much realistic as it can go. Did I forget
2 lengths back.
anything?
Left side. Clear.
What do you mean?
Behind.
Did he lap me? I don't believe it. Am I that bad to be lapped in 1 or in 2 or 3 laps? I don't know. Anyway, it's just like chilling and Sunday driving. I can up my driving a little bit, but I'm trying to remember. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I'm now in the subject of Project Cars 3 and my wishes. Yeah, I can add something. Is that to me, as someone, maybe I should have said this in the intro, that I'm not a deep-rooted sim racer. I'm not a deep-rooted e-racer or esports alien or something. No, I'm not even a deep-rooted gamer. I don't know too much about it. I'm not a deep-rooted even real-life racer. No. The only one thing I'm sure about is that I'm a car enthusiast. I like cars since I was a little child, and I'm a driver also. I like driving everything that can be driven. But talking about gamer, I'm jumping from one subject to another. I wish they will not move to the business model or money model, or I don't know what to call it, which some other sims are taking, namely iRacing, maybe Race Room, and maybe the new direction that rFactor 2 is going. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against good content. I'm not against improving and developing as fast and as much as they can, and I'm ready to pay for this. But I mean paying for everything like per livery, per car, per livery. I don't like this. My friends even pay in iRacing. They pay if someone like will give them a screenshot for their setup or a screenshot for their OSW wheel settings or motion platform settings. This is only like a help, but even they have to pay for this. So I don't know. To me, I was happy to get a good deal for the whole package, for the whole content, for this sim. It felt good. So I don't know what you guys think, but I hope they will not sell us per car and per livery. This is silly. Either to sell us like the whole sim, as like for example R Factor 2 when it was released or something, or to do like DLC packages. This is the most I can tolerate. So this is about the money or business model or something. One thing I can say that Project Cars 2 feels to me as it was done by a very big giant developer. It feels so. Someone might ask, for example, why would you, when you talked about Automobilista 2, what you wish to have, you only said like I wish to have one increment better of everything and that's all. And while when I talk what I want to have from Project Cars 3, I demand too much. This is because Slightly Mad Studios showed themselves as they have the potential, they are capable to make something good and big and comprehensive with too much content, and also with good everything. Like I will tell you at the end, I will show you what I'm talking about, that this sim has too many details. I will show you at the end. But I mean even some things that hasn't been there before in any sim, like as far as I know there is no snow in other sims. As far as I know, for example, the idea of virtual race car engineer, what do we call this? The engineer, where you tell them how the car feels. Again, I'm braking where I shouldn't brake. I will try to drive a little bit better, like only to preserve my dignity. So, this engineer, where you can tell the engineer that I'm suffering from understeer, like for example mid corner or entering the corner or something, and it can tell you what setup to change. This was very good because it taught me a little bit about setups. So my general Sorry. What I was talking about, my whole idea is that Slightly Mad Studios is capable of entering something new into the game. Some new factor that hasn't been before yet entered. I can think about, for example, that one thing, it's an example but not exactly what is going to be or what I... One example is that when I have a spin, I wonder so much, what can I learn from it? Why the spin happened? For example, is it like that I applied too much throttle and exceeded the traction limit in the rear wheels? Or is it because, for example, I lift suddenly and transferred all the way to the front and this is a lift off oversteer or something? So they can make something like visual to show you which wheel started to lose traction first, for example, or maybe like show you visually like the slipstream, where is it exactly, so you learn that, for example, if you are more than 1 second behind the car, there is no slipstream. or if you are left or right, there is no slip. Anyway, anything. So I trust that they can like make something new and like an Easter egg, hide it like inside the new Project Cars 3. And yeah, this one is about to be finished. Actually, maybe it's enough. What do you think? Can you tolerate one more lap before we go and I tell you some things that are in Project Cars 2 that I like and I wish they keep? Okay, let's do this last lap before we move to the last subject. Maybe if you don't have time or something, you can scroll forward, fast forward or something. This car has too much downforce. I can go much faster. I can go much faster, but yeah, we're just having fun, guys, right? And as an introduction about what I'm going to talk about, I thought the easiest thing is to go to see the downforce is great. I don't like too much. I like this car, but yeah, I like driving classic and vintage cars much more than Formula 1 or something. Yeah. Now that I'm driving slow, I dare to go over the water puddles, we call them. Come on. You're being weird, dude. And miss, and hit, and miss. It doesn't matter. Wow. See how much content? This is great, guys. Sometimes you have to go faster in the faster corners to maintain more downforce and more grip when you go faster than when you go slower. This is the high downforce cars logic. Yeah, I drove like a newbie there. Why I am a newbie. Yeah, again, or back to the subject. What I wanted to talk about, what I like in Project Cars 2. I will show you like the series, not all the, but only the titles of the Yorkie 065 guide for Project Cars 2. and only like the titles is enough to see how many details are there in Project Cars 2, and how much I hope they keep this and not shortcut it or. Yeah, the lap's about to be over, as I expected. I'm trying to go away from these water puddles. So, I won't bore you with this very long straight. I will finish. All right. I think, but I hope not. I think this is one of the most boring videos you have seen on YouTube. Yeah. What I wanted to show you guys is that I would, if you don't know this yet, I would like to recommend you to watch these series of videos from a guy called Yorkie065. It's very in-depth, detailed about every detail that exists in, or many, I don't know if every, but many details that exist in Project Cars 2. But what I wanted to say in short, and this has to be silent, is that the game has too many things, guys. I was stunned when I knew how much. For example, like you can do preset your pit strategies, and it's easy to deal with the menus and HUD. The game has too many classes, car classes like rallycross and vintage and older cars, and as you can see, in road cars, and too much. I cannot you can see them by yourself, and I'm sure you know them already. But we have to mention what's good, so they carry over this instead of maybe not. And I'm not against maybe if they did one series or something, but everything has its price. So they have this racing license and safety rating, and this they can carry this over maybe in terms if they wanted to make like multiplayer or let's say matchmaking system in the future or something. So they have the infrastructure already. The graphics are great. Maybe I had, when I moved from Oculus Rift to Samsung Odyssey Plus, in the beginning I did not have the best experience, but then I knew what to click and what to do, and yeah, I hope everyone makes, I mean, Project Cars 2 is good at making it easy in terms of dealing with software and hardware and menus and everything, but I hope everything gets easier, because I'm fed up with wasting time like assembling hardware and like fiddling around with software. So anyway, about the setups I cannot talk, but I can only say that they have everything exists in Project Cars 2. They did not spare anything. Is it like deep and functional or something? I cannot say. I admit that I'm a newbie maybe you can ask a real life racing driver or something who can test and tell by himself. He can tell you like is the setups are really functional, but I can tell you at least that I compared and everything exists. Every single input you can put and every single output, every single thing you can watch in your inside, middle, outside tire temperature, wear, suspension travel, your speed, how much you are spending fuel per lap, the relative menu, even these simple things that do not exist in other sims. But I mean, yeah, this sim, like as I said in the middle of the video, it feels like it has been done by a very big company. Slightly Mad Studios. I don't know how big they are, how many copies they sell or something, but their product feels like it's done by a big company. This is why I said I trust them. When I demand more of them, I want them to make like to enter new things into sim racing, new factors we haven't like looked before. We are like, for example, now very much basic. We look only about tires and suspension and weight transfer and like this. Maybe they can enter a new whole factor into sim racing. I don't know. Not more to talk about. But yeah, for example, like these tires, brake, aero, suspension, damper, engine, ECU, every single setup exists in this sim, as much as I can tell or know. Differential, etc. And things to help you like for the situational awareness. Yeah, I remembered one thing. I have Tobii eye tracking. It didn't work with any sim other than Project Cars 2. They have a built-in option to operate this. Correct me if I'm wrong. This Tobii eye tracking, where you can look, like for example, look right with your eyeballs. You have only to glance right, and the screen shows you what is on your right of your car. So this, if you, in case you get motion sick or something from the VR, you can use Tobii eye tracking. This is the future. I mean, Tobii eye tracking, it will be included in the future VR headsets themselves. I'm sure about this, or at least I hope so. Again, maybe I don't know if I talked about this or not, but Project Cars 2, if you watch this videos, guys, you will find that they worked really hard to simulate the dynamic tracks. How, for example, he shows you a time-lapse video about the cars lapping around a track in the wet weather and in the rain, and he shows you how the water is drained downwards to the lower ground, or yeah, and he shows you like how the wet line is forming because of the cars driving with the hot tires and everything, and like splashing, should we say, spraying the water outside left and right. And he shows you how the rubber is building on the track surface, on the tarmac. So I like this realism factors, the dynamic weather, the dynamic track. It's great. And also the Slightly Mad Studios, they claim to have a very good tire model. I don't know if it's the perfect, better than rFactor 2 or not, much worse, I don't know at all. But at least I can tell you that all the factors exist. Only what they have maybe to do is like to increase by 1, 2, 3 increment every single thing. Just only take care more about the driving experience. Nothing more to talk about. I mean, because they have too many classes. They have like curves, button, push to pass, hybrid, DRS, launch control, something. So they have too many classes, and each class has a system. So they worked hard to make this sim. Not much to say more. I think I will end it. Here, right here. Thanks if you were patient enough to listen. I hope something, at least like 1%, was interesting, and I can like be heard by the developers or the community or something by 1%, it's enough for me. I know that I'm not the most, as I said before, like 1 or 2 times, I'm not claiming to be an alien, I'm not claiming to be deep-rooted into gaming and sim racing and everything. Just an opinion of a driver, of a car enthusiast, wishes to have better in the future, and not only in the future, like as soon as possible. That's it. Thank you. Goodbye.